What's up, you guys? Welcome back and welcome if you're new. In today's video, I'm right here with my good friend Jerry, better known as Beast Fab. Make sure to check him out. He's going to be in the description box below. But today, as you can tell, we do have the Jeep right here. We're going to be installing a rear bumper. A big thanks to him because he's going to show you guys a step-by-step process, just in case you guys also have a Jeep and you guys want to know how to do it. But at the end of the video, we're going to show you guys just the little details that this brand new rear bumper that we're going to be installing has, and we're going to of course show you guys how it looks. Let's give you guys a little walkthrough and then we'll get to the steps. Hell yeah. All right, you guys, so before we get to the installation process, I wanted to show you guys, of course, this is a stock Jeep Jl bumper, just so you guys kind of get an idea. And of course, like I said, at the end of the video, we'll show you guys the brand new one, and we'll show you guys the features. Looking right over here, anytime you guys are working with a big project like this, you do want to go ahead and get like a blanket and just kind of spread everything out. If you guys do remember, when we did the Tacoma bumper, we also did the same thing just to kind of help us out. I did also want to let you guys know, we previously installed a front bumper, so if you guys do want to watch the video on that, make sure to check out the description box below. I'll link that video there.
All right, guys, so we're gonna walk you guys through the process of removing everything that we have right here. It's gonna be the bumper, the tire, and everything. So the Jeep, they come with this little pouch right here. So it comes with a set of tools for unlocking your tire. So with this little tool, so we're gonna take this one with the one that it comes for the tire lock. There's a lock. What you're gonna do, pretty much you just twist it where it says unlock. It's gonna come off, okay?
So of course, right now, as you can tell, we were just removing the stock wheel. So if you guys do have the stock wheel just like me, it's gonna be a size 22mm socket to go ahead and remove those 3 lugs, which is 1, 2, and 3. Once you remove the spare tire just like that, up next what we're going to be doing is disassembling this whole area. So you're going to see right here, there's going to be 3 screws coming up, 3 screws coming up there, and 1 right here in the center. It's going to be a total of 7 screws that you're going to need to remove because we are going to need to pull out this brake light. So as you can tell, what he's going to remove right now, it's going to be a size 13mm socket. It's going to be a bolt there, 1 here, and there. So there's going to be 4 going along the top, and then there's going to be 4 on the bottom. 1 there, 1 there, there, and there. All right, and there it is, as you can tell. So once you take those 4 off, it releases the whole thing. And as you can tell, now we have it disassembled. So here's the tail light. We just have it set on this table just so it doesn't tear the wire. Up next, we need to get that rear camera out, so that's what we're going to be working on next. So to remove the backup camera, you're going to notice there's a little screw that's there and a little screw on this side. That's going to be also a 20 Torx bit, and it should release the backup camera. To remove this backup camera, what you're going to need to get is you're going to need to get a rubber hammer or a mallet just like that. And we're basically going to be hitting the studs here to release it from the plastic. If you try to do it by hand, good luck, because it's not going to come off. You need to hit it. So that's what he's going to be doing right now. You can tell it releases it, and now you have the backup camera. So we're going to start kind of disassembling some more, so that way we can go ahead and transfer this stuff to the new bumper. Well, of course, now that we've removed that backup camera, we're going to be working on this brake light. What you're going to need to get is a 20 Torx bit. You're going to see right here, there's a little screw there, and there's going to be a little screw there. Those are going to be the 20 Torx bit. The reason why, it's going to release it once you take those off, and then we'll have access to this harness here. You guys will see. Here. So just like that, and as you can tell, this is a regular harness. You just push it with your 2 fingers and it will release it super easy. For this next step, you're going to want to go ahead and get yourself a Torx bit. It's going to be a size T8. It is a small one. Reason why is to remove this actual backup camera, there's going to be 3 screws. So it's 1 there, 1 at the bottom, and 1 there. So like I said, T8 Torx bit, and it'll remove it. Let's do it. Gonna be a little tab there, and you can go ahead and disconnect the harness. And that one might be a little bit hard, not gonna lie.
Looks like
if you're struggling, yeah, that means it's hard. This just kind of take your time. It is gonna be hard, I'm not gonna lie. And now you want to go ahead and slide the harness right through the hole, and then basically put this bracket to the side. You don't need it, and that's what we're going to be reusing. For this next step, what we're going to be doing is, as you can tell, there's these pressure relief caps right here. We're going to be removing them. So it's going to be hard to see it on camera, but right in between this plastic, there's going to be a gasket, and all you need to do is get a panel removal tool just like that, and you're going to go ahead and pop it right off. just like that until you hear it snap and it releases. So there's only 2 at the top, and then you want to do the same thing to this one. You guys will see why, but it's needed to go ahead and install the new plate. For this next step, you're going to want to go ahead and get this plate here, and inside there's a small bag with some hardware. Not that one, there's going to be a bigger bag with a bunch of hardware. You want to grab that one. So you're going to notice all this hardware we're not going to use just yet. What you're going to want to go ahead and find is going to be 8 of these right here. As you can tell, they are smaller screws. It's going to be 8 of them. So once you find that, you want to also get 8 of these washers. Of course, they're going to be fit to size for that specific screw, and then you're going to want to go ahead and get 8 of these lock washers as well. You want to get your screw, you want to get your lock washer, slide it right over. After you do that, you want to get your washer, and then it's going to be just like this for all of them, of course, which is 8. And then get yourself some Loctite. You're going to want some Loctite onto the screws, just so that way this plate doesn't end up falling off over time when you guys are off-road or anything like that. As you can tell, we have the plate here. One thing I did want to take note on is noticing here this hinge. You do want it onto the driver's side, closest to the camera here. So once again, this hinge, you want it to the driver's side. Once you have all the bolts just tight like that, you want to go ahead and get yourself a 13mm socket and tighten those things down. Next, we're going to be removing the bumper. So going over here, we're starting on the passenger side. You're going to notice right here, there's going to be like a plastic covering here. We're going to need to remove that. So you're going to notice right here, there's going to be a size 8mm bolt. So go ahead and get yourself a size 8mm socket to remove that. And then back here, it's going to be kind of hard to see it, but there's a screw there and there's a screw there. So you want to go ahead and remove those 2 as well. So it's going to be a total of 3 screws that you have to take off. Once you take those 3 off, you're going to notice that tab's just going to come off, that plastic piece. Of course, once that cover comes off, you're going to notice in here there's going to be a total of 4 bolts. So right here, right here, right here, and right here, you're going to need to remove those. They're going to be a size 16mm socket to go ahead and remove those 4. Once that metal bracket comes out, let me go ahead and pull you guys in so you guys can see what's going to be next. So you're going to notice right there, there's going to be another 2 silver screws. Those are also going to be a size 16mm socket to go ahead and remove. That's what's holding the bumper in place. Once you remove those bolts, you want to go ahead and do the same thing on the opposite side. I just wanted to give you guys one tip because there is only one difference on the driver's side. So let me zoom in for you guys to show you. Let me go ahead and zoom you guys in a little bit so you guys can see what the difference is. So noticing right there, that's going to be the harness for the license plate light. You want to go ahead and unplug it. Like I said, everything's the same from the passenger side. Only difference is on the driver's side, you got that harness. You want to make sure to unplug it so that way you don't pull any wires. I'll show you guys just how this harness gets removed, only because it's actually a really weird harness. So you see that white tab that Jerry's kind of playing with? You want to go ahead and unrelease that first. That's kind of like a locking pin. Once you get that thing out, then you can actually access the actual clip right there, and then you can push down and then it'll release the harness. So I know it's a little bit weird, it's a little bit complicated, but you can get it done. Just like that, the bumper comes off. It's actually really light. As you can tell, now the stock bumper is removed. I'm going to show you guys just kind of what's the next step. So focusing right here, noticing there's a bracket here, that you're going to need to remove it. It's going to be held in with 2 bolts, a size 21, one right there and one right there. Then this bracket gets released. Once you finish that up, let's go ahead and move on to this side over here. And then that's going to also be a size 21, noticing right there and right there. And once you take those off, this thing is also held in at the bottom. So there's going to be another 2 right here, which are also a size 21. One thing I also wanted to note, if you guys do have sensors on your bumper, you also want to take note on that and make sure you guys remove the harness before pulling the bumper out. Of course, on my Jeep, it does not have the bumper sensors, so I didn't need to worry about that. But if you guys do have sensors on yours, make sure to take note. So that's what we're going to be doing next. We're going to be removing those brackets there in that hook. One side is down. Let's do the passenger side, same thing. For this next step, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to get this plate right here. Noticing right there, it has welded on nuts right there at the bottom. So you want to get this bracket, and what we're going to be doing is you're going to want to go to the passenger side, So going on the passenger side, you're going to want to slide this right into here, into the cross member. As you can tell, it's in there, it's nice and flush. Looking underneath, it's going to be hard to see, but you want to make sure that those holes are lined up with the nut, because that's where we're going to be putting the bolt through. So that's what is next. Let's get on to the next step. For this next step, right now what we're going to be doing is we're going to start assembling the rear bumper. As you can see it there, looking right over here, you want to go ahead and get this piece that looks like this. You're going to notice there's like 1, 2, 3, and 4 tabs where there's going to be screws going in, and it's going to be a rod. That piece here is actually going to be slid into the passenger side of the bumper, into that hole there, and it's actually going to come out through this side. That's going to be for the swing arm. So now for the actual hardware we're going to be using, it's going to be right here. So if you guys do remember, we previously opened a bigger bag with hardware, with a bunch of hardware. So that's what we're going to be focusing on. So there's going to be different size bolts inside that bag. As you can see, I mean, they're all different, but there is going to be 4 that you're going to need, and 4 washers and 4 lock washers. So you're going to want to go ahead and grab this bolt here, which is the bigger of the other ones. As you can see it, there's going to be 4 of them. There's going to be 4 washers that you're going to need to grab, and there's going to be 4 lock washers. Now moving on to it, let's go ahead and install it. There's a flat side to it and then a top side. So you want the flush side to be against the bracket. So it's going to go right to the bottom just like that. You want that flat side to line up with this bracket here. As you can tell, he just started it by hand, but you want to go ahead and get yourself a 19mm socket to go ahead and tighten these things down all the way, and then we'll show you guys what's next. Alright you guys, once you install the rod for the swing out, you're going to now go ahead and install the bumper. So to do so, what you're going to want to go ahead and do is get the smaller bag provided that we haven't opened up yet. Inside you're going to have 8 bolts, 8 washers, and 8 lock washers. You're going to also want to use some Loctite for this, but let's go ahead and now get to installing the bumper with this provided hardware. Now that I showed you what hardware is going to go to install that brand new bumper, you want to go ahead and get a second hand. That bumper is heavy, so get someone to help you out. So once we bring it over, on the bumper itself, it's going to actually line up right here. So it's going to be like an L bracket that goes around. You're going to want to get 4 out of those 8 screws that we just showed you guys, and those basically are going to be mounting into here. 2 are going to go here, and 2 are going to go at the bottom. And then for the other side, it's going to be kind of the same thing. There's also going to be an L bracket on the bumper that's going to kind of line up right here. And then you're going to put 2 screws at the bottom, and then you're going to put 2 screws right here at the side. I'm going to help out Jerry right now, so I'm going to try to show you guys as best as possible, but I need to help him out to kind of pick up the bumper. As you can tell, the bottom half of the bumper is now installed. So what you just saw Jerry doing is down here, what he was doing was just kind of adjusting the bumper, and all he did was just bolt these bottom ones down. We still need to bolt these down, but he was just kind of adjusting, tightened them, and now we just need to tighten these ones here. So once you do this side, of course you do the same exact steps to the opposite side. And just so you guys know, that is a size 21mm socket. And the reason you do want to adjust this bumper before you tighten it down, because if you don't, this bumper will actually be hitting your paint, and you do not want that. As you can tell, ours does have a gap, so that's good. And of course we made it even with the other side. Now that you have the bumper bolted down and it's good to go, we're going to start working on the swing arm. We're going to be installing it. So focusing back over here, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to go ahead and locate this L bracket here. This is actually going to be for the bump stop. You guys will see where we're going to place it, but you want to go ahead and locate this. Once you do, you then want to go ahead and locate your bump stop, which is this piece here. As you can tell, that's going to be our bump stop. After that, what you want to go ahead and do is you want to go ahead and go back to the hardware baggie that you first opened up, the one that has an assortment of screws. So what you're going to be doing is you're going to be locating the 4 screws that are the same, which are going to be the longest right here. As you can tell, these are going to be the longest out of the rounded head bolts. So you're going to get 4 of those. You're going to want to go ahead and get the 2 smallest washers, as you can see there. You're going to want to go ahead and get 4 nylon nuts, and you're going to want to go ahead and get 4 washers. You guys will see why. But these little washers here are going to go inside the actual bump stop there. You guys will see once we do it. And then there's going to be 2 screws that go through. And then this hardware here is going to actually go in the back of the bracket to go ahead and install it so nothing falls apart. You guys will see. Once you have it assembled, it's going to be a size 4 Allen key right here on this side, and it's going to be a size 10 socket for the actual nuts. So we're going to go ahead and tighten this down, and then we'll assemble it onto the actual arm. Once you have it assembled, as you can tell, you want to go ahead and make sure this thing is centered right in the middle. This side, of course, you're going to need to put the 2 screws through, but you're also going to want washers on them. So as you can see there, so it's the screw, then the washer, and then of course the bracket. On the back side of the bracket, the screws are going to poke out. You want to put another washer there, and then you want to go ahead and get a nylon nut and just tighten it down just like that. He's going to do it by hand, and then after we'll go ahead and tighten it down. I want to take note on when you guys are tightening this down. This thing, you actually want to center it as best as possible because it does move back and forth. Okay, so noticing right here, you're going to want to take note. So this is going to be the top, and this is going to be the bottom, as you can see it there. So what you're going to want is basically, you're going to want to go ahead and get these bolts in that baggie provided. Let me show you guys. So of course, this is where all the scattered hardware was. So you're going to want to go ahead and get one of these bolts. There's going to be 2 of them in the bag, so you're going to want to grab both. But for right now, you just want to grab one. You're going to want to go ahead and grab 2 washers, and you're going to want to go ahead and grab one of the nylon nuts. And this is what we're basically going to be doing. So noticing right here, I kind of have it assembled. So you're going to want the top of the head of the bolt, so the main part, it's going to come in through there, while this heim joint that you do want to get, that comes provided, is going to be right in the center right there. The bolt's going to go right through, and you're going to have one of the washers on the outside there, and then at the bottom you're going to have one of the other washers, and then the nylon nut. So it's going to be something like that. Of course, it's not assembled yet. I just want to give you guys an idea before we do it. But yeah, you want to go ahead and grab this for now. What you want to go ahead and do is get a 19mm socket. It's going to be for both sides. You want to go ahead and now tighten this thing down. Of course, now that you have that assembled, you have your bump stop assembled, now we're going to go ahead and start with our bearings. So the way to tell, of course, like I was telling you guys, this is the bottom end of the arm, and that's going to be the top. The top end actually has like a little hole right there. You'll see it in person. We're going to start working with the bottom end. So to do that, what you're going to want to go ahead and do is inside, they're going to provide some bearings. It's going to be 2 of these in a box. One thing I did want to let you guys know, these bearings, there's going to actually be 2 of them, and one's going to be bigger and one's going to be smaller. You want to go ahead and make sure to grab the bigger one. That's the one that's going to go on the bottom. So we're going to start greasing it up real good, and then we'll go from there. As you can tell, it's all greased up inside, all the 3 walls in there. Now you want to go ahead and get your bearing, the bearing there. Do you want to add some more grease on that? It's going to be the same thing. Go ahead and get your grease gun and just kind of put a little bit in there. So for this next step, of course, on the bearing itself, this is the bearing. There's actually going to be sleeves. So they're going to be metal sleeves like these. So right now, of course, we have the metal sleeve already installed, if you can see it there. So what we ended up having to use was this socket here. As you can tell, it's very big. We just kind of went around it and we hit it with the mallet to push it in. There's a lot of powder coating in here, so if you guys try to do it by hand, just kind of pushing it on the sleeve, it's not going to go in. So like I said, we kind of put it in there, and then we used this socket, we put it right over, and we just kind of started hitting it with the mallet evenly. Make sure you want to do that evenly, just like that. And once you have it flush right here, as you can tell, it's now in there. That's the sleeve for the top end. Of course, that one's smaller, but the sleeve for the bottom end is going to be here, which is already installed. Once you have that done, now you want to go ahead and get your bearing, and now we'll go ahead and place it in there since we have our sleeve there. So there you guys go, just put the bearing. So now you want to go ahead and get your bigger washer, as you can see it there, and then you'll go ahead and get your seal and pop it right over. Just like that. And you might have to work that one in as well, so go ahead and get yourself a mallet, just like that, and just kind of pop it in. Do little by little, just so you don't mess anything up, since it is a seal. As you can tell, now we have the seal in, and you want to make sure it's flush. Once you have it there, now you want to go ahead and grab your arm, and now we're going to go ahead and put it onto the rod. You want to do this as evenly as possible so you don't damage anything. So as you can tell, there it is. And now what we're going to be doing is we're going to start working on the top end. So once you have the arm on installed just like that, as you can tell, now we're going to of course start working on the top. So for right here, it's going to be the kind of the same steps you did on the bottom. What you're going to want to do is now grab the smaller bearing, which is right here. As you can tell, we've already greased it, so it's greased. And you're going to grab the sleeve. That's going to be your first step. And then of course, once you have that, you also want to go ahead and get the smaller washer, which is right here, as you can tell. You're going to want to go ahead and grab that. And you're going to want to go ahead and grab this cotter pin nut right here. And that is what's going to be needed for this next step on the installs. So let's do that now. If you guys do remember, just like the bottom, there's a lot of powder coating in there. So you might have to hammer in the sleeve of the bearing. And then you could put the bearing on. And you also want to make sure to grease it up. Don't forget that step. Alright you guys, and as you can tell, right now we have it set in this position here. But that ring actually has to go all the way at the bottom. You're not going to be able to see it on camera, but in person there's actually like a notch where the sleeve's going to sit. So to go ahead and put it all the way down, we're going to be using a flathead. So we're taping off the screwdriver right here. It is a flathead. Reason why is just so that way when we go to hammer it all the way in, that way we don't damage the sleeve. So let's do that now. Alright you guys, so as you can see, the sleeve is all the way at the bottom. One thing to take note, if I was you guys, I'd put a lot of grease in here just to kind of help you kind of slide it down as well. And of course, once you have it in that position there, you want to go ahead and now get your bearing, which is this right here. This is the smaller one. And now we're going to go ahead and slide it right in. And you want to make sure it sits inside of the sleeve. If it's not inside the sleeve, then you're installing it incorrectly. So make sure on that. Once you guys have that Japan bearing right in there, so the next step, what you're going to want to go ahead and do is grab this bigger nut right here, as you can tell. And you want to go ahead and grab this like locking key pin. And you want to go ahead and grab this washer. This is the smaller one that I told you guys from the beginning. Up next, you need to go ahead and now tighten down that nut that's there. Just in case you guys don't have a socket that's going to fit in there, this is a little trick Jerry wants to show you guys. So you can get a flathead kind of like what we were just using. Put it inside one of the notches. As you can tell, it has notches. And just kind of use a mallet and start tightening it down. You do want to be careful on this though, because when you are hammering it in, you don't want to over tighten the thing. So just take note on that. Once you have that nut all the way in where it should be, one thing I did want to take note is you want to have that nut in place with the actual bar that's coming out where it's slid into. Because after that, you want to go ahead and grab the cotter pin, and as you can tell, it needs to slide right in like that. It's from there to there. You want to go ahead and kind of put it in by hand. And if you're having trouble, you can go ahead and do the same method, grab a flathead and kind of hammer it in. But as you can tell, the cotter pin is slid in. And the next step, what you're going to need to do is you're going to want to go ahead and get this little like screw that comes provided. I'm not sure exactly what it's called, but there it is. It's super small and it takes an Allen key at the top. So now you want to grab that, and what you're going to be doing is you're going to tighten it right here at the top. It's going to screw in. You guys will see. Just like that. And now he's going to go ahead and tighten it all the way down. It's going to be a size 4mm Allen key to tighten that thing down. Let's move to the next step. Once you have all that assembled, up next what you want to do is you want to go ahead and get your rough country cap, if you guys did get the same bumper. And we're going to be now installing this part. For this next step, going back to that hardware baggie, what you're going to want to go ahead and do is you're going to want to go ahead and get 2 of these bolts right here, as you can see. So it's going to be 1 bolt, 2 bolt, and then you're going to want to go ahead and get 4 washers for it. So there's 2 there and there's 2 there. You guys will see why. And then you're going to want to go ahead and get another 2 nylon nuts. You're going to want to go ahead and get this bracket that looks like this. And to determine what goes to the bottom and what goes to the top, there's a welded nut right there. So that's going to be facing towards the bottom. So going to the arm, we're going to go ahead and put it. And this is kind of where we're going to adjust it, of course, depending on what size tire I have. So now that we kind of determine where we want the bracket, you're going to notice right here, it's going to be 1, 2, and we're going to put it at the 3rd hole. And from the bottom, you can see there's 1 hole there, and then we're going to put it on the 2nd hole right there. This is, of course, if you have a stock tire, so this is a stock tire application. If you guys have a bigger tire, go ahead and adjust to your size. All right, you guys, so once you put the bolts through, this is how it should be. Noticing we did end up using different ones. We just bought our own. These are grade 8 bolts, but it was kind of the same process. And right here at the bottom, same thing. But now that it's mounted, it's secured. Up next, what you're going to want to go ahead and do is you're going to go ahead and grab the bracket that's like this, which has the threads on it. This is going to be for the spare tire. So basically what this is going to do is it's going to slide into that hole there. As you can see it, it's going to slide right in. And the way you can tell if it's correct or not, it actually says JL. So you want that, of course, in the upright position. Just in case you don't see that, of course, there's 3 bolts right here that are kind of welded in place, as you can see them. So you want the 2 at the top and the 1 at the bottom. And then up next, you want to go ahead and get the provided bolts. It's going to be 4 total washers, and then of course the nuts. And same thing, we're not going to be using theirs. We're actually going to use our own just to kind of make it more secure. They're going to be just the same as we used here, grade 8 bolts. If you have it in this position, as you can tell, I mean, you can adjust it. For us, we're going to put it all the way to the back. We're going to go ahead and grab our 2 grade 8 bolts. Like I said, we're going to be using our own just to kind of just be more peace of mind for us. So we have 2 of these bad boys here. We're going to be using some washers, as you can tell, and we're going to slide the bolt right through, and then on this side it'll come out, and we'll put a washer and of course a nylon nut as well. You guys will see. This part here, it doesn't come provided. This is just our own bolts that we wanted to use. As you can tell, grade 8 bolt going through with the washer. This side we have a bushing, washer, and nylon nut. So we're going to do the same thing to this front side as well. Alright, you guys, and once you have your bolts and nuts and everything tightened down, as you can tell, it still moves. So up next, what you're going to need to do is go back to your hardware baggie, and you're going to want to go ahead and get this last bolt right here. It's the single one. It's like a pretty big, good size. You want to go ahead and grab that one, and that's going to be your stopper bolt. Just that way it doesn't do that anymore. Right here at the bottom, you're going to notice there's some threading there, and that's where this bolt is going to go. You guys will see. And that right there is of course going to be a size 19mm socket, and that's just, like I said, going to be your stopper. That way the spare tire isn't moving it around. And as you can tell, now it's not going to move. It's nice and secure. Now that we have this whole thing assembled, we have our bottom bolt pinned in, so that way this thing doesn't move. Up next, what we're going to go ahead and start doing is now we're going to go ahead and work on the wiring, so that way we can finally put, of course, our backup camera and our brake light. Backup camera, which is that pink one, we're going to have to run it through this hole here, and basically it's going to be ran inside and it's going to come out right through here. You guys will see. So what he's doing there, he just has a piece of wire that's just going to kind of help us out with running the wire. He's going to be putting it through there, and then once it comes out through here, he's going to tape that onto the actual harness, and then he's going to pull it back out, so that way we can have the wire on this side. So after you have this harness put out just like that, you're going to notice we still need to reroute this harness, which is for the brake light, and you want to get the heim joint, and you want to go ahead and pre-install it there. And now we're going to go ahead and put the bolt right through, and of course the nut. Alright, you guys, as you can tell, now everything is tightened down. We're good to go. One thing I did want to note, you do want to adjust this. So noticing kind of how we have it, the reason why we had to adjust it is so that way this plate won't move. As you can tell, it's stuck on there. Now it's not going to go anywhere. If you install it without adjusting, this plate is going to be moving around, and that's not what you want. This plate actually has to be stiffened just like that, so that way when you go to open up the door, it goes with it. That's what's going to have to happen. So let's get to the next step. So one thing to know, you do actually want this wire out. Previously we had slotted in through here, but if you do that, it won't reach over here. So we had to take this wiring out and leave it like that, and then now we're going to go ahead and retighten this, and then we'll go from there. Now that we have that lined up, this is the bracket that we just had sitting there, so that way we can test fit. But this is the bracket you want to go ahead and get if you guys do have a backup camera, and all you do is slide it right in just like that, and then there you go. So up next, we're gonna now be mounting the backup camera. So it's gonna go right in through there. Right now we're just lining up the camera. As you can see, he's gonna go ahead and reconnect the harness and make sure it clips in. And the way you know how to mount this is Rough Country actually provides cut holes, and they actually provide you the new bolts to install this. So you see it matches there, and there. So we're gonna go ahead and now get the baggie that comes provided to go ahead and install this correctly. It's gonna be a set of little screws, washers, and nuts. So there is the hardware. So we're gonna need to get one of the little screws. You're gonna wanna go ahead and slide a washer, and then you're also gonna need a little lock washer, another washer, and a nut. So that's what you're gonna need to install for each screw, meaning for each mounting point. You guys will see right now. Slide it right through, and then on the opposite side, he's gonna put another washer right there. And then he's going to put the lock washer, and then it's going to be the nut. I'm not going to lie, these screws are freaking small, so it might be a little bit hard, but that's how you do it. And then you're gonna tighten that down, and of course you wanna go ahead and make sure to do the same steps to that one and that bottom one. You have your camera mounted, now you wanna go ahead and get the next bracket. So the next bracket is gonna look like this, and that you're literally gonna slide it right over. It's gonna be that simple. Just be careful, of course, not to damage the camera. And then there it is. So once you have it, your camera should be sitting in that position there. There it is. So now let's go ahead and keep going from there. Almost getting ready to go ahead and mount the tire. But we're gonna go ahead and now install the third brake light. Noticing here, that's where we're gonna be kind of focusing on. But as far as the hardware, looking right over here, there's gonna be 2 of these bolts left over. There's gonna be 2 of these washers and 2 flag nuts. So looking at those right there, they have like a welded on nut, a welded on washer, so that's the ones we're going to be using. As far as the brackets, what we're going to need to get is going to be these 2. So of course, looking at this here and then looking at this right here. So these 2 are going to be the brackets that we're going to need. And the cool thing about this is they're actually adjustable. I'm assuming, depending of course on the spare tire that you have, on the size. So the first thing we're going to need is you're going to want to go ahead and grab the bracket that's flat like this. And noticing on the other one, which is here, it has like a cutout. So you want to leave that for last. We're going to get the bracket that's flat like that. That's basically going to be sitting here, and it's going to go actually this way. So just like that. And we're going to need to put the nuts from the top, and then in the back, it's going to be a little bit hard, I'm not going to lie, but in the back is where we're going to be fitting those nuts and washers. Just to show you guys kind of from the back side, so when you guys put the nuts in, you're going to notice right here there's like a cutout, and there's a cutout there. So it is going to be a little bit hard, I'm not going to lie, but you could get yourself a wrench and just kind of have it sitting there while you're holding the nut on this side, and then of course screw it from this top side. So that's what we're going to do right now. Like I said, this part, I'm not going to lie, it might be a little bit difficult. Just kind of take your time on it, but you can do it. So as you can tell, he has the nut right there. He's going to be doing this side first just because it's the furthest, and then we're going to grab the bracket and put it right over just like that. As you can tell, you want to make sure you line up the holes, get your screw. It's going to be of course your washer and then your screw, and then you tighten it down. Jerry's going to do the last screw, which is on the other side, and it's going to be the same steps. Just kind of have your wrench on the bottom and then hand tighten, and then go ahead and tighten it down all the way with the provided Allen key. Now you want to go ahead and get the bracket where we're going to be mounting the actual brake light. As you can see it, we already mounted it, but basically all you do is, looking on the back side here, is you want to go ahead and reuse the stock hardware and just put the 2 screws in, and it mounts it. It's that simple. So as you can tell, up next, what we're going to be doing is we're going to now put it right over the bracket here. And what Jerry's doing right now, since I do have a 31-inch tire, which is the stock factory size, what he's doing is he's measuring from there, which is like the middle of the screw, and he's measuring up. He's going to go at about 17 inches, right about there. Reason why is so that way when we mount the tire, the brake light's still showing. So of course this sizing here is going to depend on what size tire you guys have, but that's how it looks. Now you want to go ahead and get the provided hardware and install this onto there. In this section here, now you of course put your provided hardware through. If you guys do want to change up the hardware, go ahead and go to Lowe's and get your own hardware. You might need to, it's up to you guys, but as you can tell, we have it kind of mocked up for you guys. Once you guys actually do tighten everything down, now you want to go ahead and get your harness, which is coming from here. So looking at that there, so this is going to be the harness of course for the third brake light, and all you do is you go ahead and now plug it in and then make sure it clips, and that's it. And of course you're going to have some dangling wire, so if you want you can get yourself maybe some zip ties and kind of zip tie it somehow, and that's it. Let's go ahead and now mount the tire and be done. I'm going to go ahead and just put the spare tire right over just like that. Just match up the threads, just kind of how you had your stock factory one. Once you have it through, now you just go ahead and get your stock lugs and go ahead and mount it. That's it. Once you've hand tightened these, just want to go ahead and torque them down, and that's basically it. You got your rear bumper. Let's go ahead and now show you guys. So I'm gonna be 100% honest with you. I think the license plate, we might have put it backwards. We're done with the installation. As you can tell, it's all done. So now it's a little bit more better as far as height clearance, and I won't have all that plastic. So this one is, I believe, their trail one. I can't remember the name of it, but I'll link it in the description. So it does only come up to here, as you can tell. It does have a cutout, and it does have angles, so that way when you're off-road you don't hit it. And of course it is steel, so it's going to be a lot better. That way you don't damage anything. So there it is. And the cool thing about this, I mean, I can still use my spare right here, or I can use the door still. So you can move it, close it, open it, anything like that. As far as for the lights, because I know one of you guys are going to ask me, those lights that go there, those you can either tap into your back lights right there, your tail lights, or you can tap into the factory harness, whatever is easiest for you. But as you can tell, there it is, you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. We finished up. I'm going to let Jerry talk a little bit, so if you guys want to hit him up on anything.
You guys know, anything, just let me know. Shoot me a DM, an email. You can give us a call to the office. And anything you guys need, body armor, sliders, installation, everything you guys need. This kind of project, we don't mind doing, helping people. So any other stuff, probably you guys know, everything we do already. If you guys don't, just gonna put all my information down below, so just hit me up, all right?
Hell yeah. So as you can tell, we already finished up. It's installed and everything. I will be honest, this one did take some time, so if you guys are doing this at home, good luck. If you guys can always hit him up. But there you go. So I'll see you guys on the next one. Please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe.
JesseRizo is here for you. It's here for you. Like I said, it's super simple. Please feel free to subscribe.